Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
What is Path of the Pale Rider anyway? Is it a comic book? No, that's not it. Is it this? What the heck is Path of the Pale Rider, man? There's no way this is right. How about this?
I have no idea.
We can rob a bank.
Oh, it's this.
Yo, Pops Van Zant here. The Madness Comic Network is evolving into the Madness Roku Network. We're taking our stuff to Roku. We're joining great channels like the American Horrors Channel. We're taking our stuff over there, guys. We love it over there. You're going to love what we bring you. We got some great shows, all kinds of different stuff. Come join the madness, yo. Madness Roku Network right here. Peace.
All right, boys and girls. This is Ron from Romo Art, also from Sector 7. All right, take 2. Nope.
How you doing, buddy?
What's up?
How are you?
Not too bad. Sorry to leave you in suspense. I was trying to finish up a last-minute thing for us before I hopped on, and I was in the back room.
Hey,
I was here. You guys were afraid I wasn't showing up. I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't know. I was like, text them one more time, and if I'm getting to the point where I'm kind of getting used to it, and I'm like, what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's nothing to stress about. I'm not looking to stress tonight. I'm in my recliner tonight. I am. It's been a week, So
it's Monday. It's Monday, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a week. It's fucking Monday.
Well, so in the past week, just to kind of recap for those who are maybe not following us every show or whatnot,
I haven't heard from you in a while. Like, this is actually the first time that we've talked and I've seen you. and you're not
Yeah.
even like, and you're like 3 blocks away. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like,
I know.
I know you've been busy.
It has been a crazy week for a couple of reasons. Well, we talked with Chuck Dixon last week, which was incredible. That was so awesome.
Yeah,
and it was funny because just a couple hours before that interview, we had gotten a new dog. And then Tuesday, had to work all day. And while I was at my second, job that day, my daughter accidentally let the dog go. Actually, before that, the night before, after we talked to Chuck Dixon, I was trying to fix my main laptop.
Yeah.
What should have been a 20-minute job ended up being a horror show. And my main gaming laptop, my expensive one, is now a brick at the moment. And may remain that way. Oh yeah, it's not. Let me put it this way: I don't have I don't have delicate enough hands to solder what needs to be soldered. So that is not. It's just too tiny for me. I can work on guitars and stuff, but not something this small. So I am likely screwed on that. And then the next day, my daughter loses the dog. So I spent the bulk of last week. She was gone for 4 days, and that we didn't get her back till Saturday morning. So I walked about 5 miles every night on foot. Was looking around in the truck in addition to everything else we have going on. So it was just an insane week. Insane.
How'd you get? Yeah. So I'm amazed you got the dog back. How'd you get it back?
So luckily we used Facebook and stuff like that, and people were on the lookout. But someone actually, she must have went back near her previous owners because someone picked her up and put her inside their enclosed porch, and they woke up Saturday morning and found her there. And of course, we had sightings, but they were mostly around my house. So I was really surprised, and we're happy to have. She's a great dog. She's doing really well now, but obviously the Harley felt super guilty, and just it was just my little guy's wondering where she was, and it was a hard week. So finally feel like I'm getting somewhat back to normal tonight.
Yeah, nice. I'm glad. Well, yeah, I was. Like I said, I was surprised when I saw the post that you got the dog back. I'm like, it's because you said it was 4 days. Like that's usually it's over after like 2. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
That's
like
crazy.
I thought if anything she would show up at the pound at that point, but they had my information, and for a dog to be on the run for 4 days straight and not get picked up. Several people on like last Wednesday texted me and was like, "Oh, we saw her, but we couldn't catch her," and that kind of thing. And she got away. So little brat's a ninja, but other than that, they said just a wild week for sure.
Yeah. So tell me, because I actually have no clue of any updates because I've been really busy. I mean, I've been busy just doing my own shit like I always do. I tend to keep to myself. What's going on with the Godzilla? Because I don't know anything. Has there been any news about any other kaijus that may show up in the movie? Not rumors, but like, do you know anything for sure?
In the new movie, no. So far, there's not a lot of details other than what's been revealed so far. There are some rumors, but I have not seen anything confirmed. I've seen no screenshots as of yet.
Yeah,
and usually that stuff spreads like wildfire through.
It does in America. Do you think Japan has like more of a tight seal on their studios?
I think in this case probably. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a solo outing though. The way it's being set up to me looks like it's a solo film.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I really feel like it's being set up to feature just Godzilla, and I'm not sure. I wouldn't be shocked if the rumors were true. They sound plausible, But at the same time, I guess I wouldn't be surprised either way. But we just have no confirmation either way yet.
You know, it's interesting because I like me and you and people who really love the genre. I don't think we would mind if it was just Godzilla, you know. But
Right.
do you think nowadays, even though it looks amazing, do you think nowadays that would be enough for at least an American audience?
Actually, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think that I think American audiences might not appreciate it as much, especially considering what appears to be very strong, anti-nuclear overtones in it. And no
Which
one's
is
gonna feel
that's
that.
what it's about. Like that's
Right.
that's
Yeah,
Godzilla.
I
That's
mean
Godzilla, you know.
right, exactly. And I think Japan feels that, deeper than we do, obviously.
I would
But
assume
at the
so.
same,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say
Yeah.
that
I'd assume
that
so.
goes without saying. But at the same time, I think it would do. It's getting a release here.
Yeah.
A pretty, what appears to be a pretty substantial release. We don't have all the details on it yet, but I'm really excited about it. Actually, they're also doing a re-release of Godzilla 2000 as a one-time event in theaters in early
When?
November.
Really?
So
Dude,
November
I love,
1st, I think it is.
That's one of my favorites. I would love to see that.
Yeah, we're
We should really go. I would love to freaking do that, dude.
absolutely. I'll look it up tonight.
Yeah,
and,
I'd love to see. I put that in all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites, and it's actually oddly enough. For those that don't know, I was born in '85, so the first official Toho Godzilla film that I saw in theaters stateside was Godzilla 2000. I was about 15 years old when that came out. Obviously, there was the Matthew Broderick debacle a couple years
That doesn't
prior.
count.
Yeah, well, not even a couple years. Right.
It's nice now because we're older and we like innocent stuff now, but it really still doesn't count as Godzilla, you know.
Yeah, I've said this numerous times. I really love what Toho has done with that kaiju. What's up, Roland? They've really made Zilla into his own monster. And although obviously they can't go back in time and change the original film and the copyright or anything like that.
Matthew Broderick.
Right, Matthew Broderick, or
that.
any of the other actor. Well, I don't know. That movie was not good, but
I still put it on in the background sometimes, man, because you know what?
Bye, Don.
As shitty as the movie kind of was, 97 is better than 2023, and it's still and now it kind of makes me smile, you know.
It was a bad movie, and it's not, to me, it's not Godzilla. But what I really love about that time period, and this is actually kind of a fun little rant, those couple of years leading up to that film were some of the best to be a Godzilla fan growing up. Now, granted, in 98, I would have turned 13. So I wasn't super old, but up until that point, being a kaiju fan was hard. There wasn't a lot of resources out there. The internet was still sometimes you had it and sometimes you didn't. I remember going to the library and doing a lot of my research at that point, but at the same time, you had this flood of Godzilla merchandise, because regardless of whether the movie was faithful or not, they really they had the campaign alone, I think, was like $100 million for just marketing.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it was
they may have been more successful if they had lessened the merchandising campaign a little bit. You know what I mean? Because they spent probably
in a way it's funny because I'm kind of glad it wasn't, because I didn't want to see more of that version. I'll say that monster, because I really don't think of it as Godzilla. But the promotional period leading up to it was so much fun. I mean, it was hyped out of this world. As
the
much
toys
as I've
were
ever
everywhere.
seen
Not
another
just those
movie
toys,
hype.
like regular Godzilla toys too. Like everything was coming out again.
Right. You had regular Godzilla stuff. It was actually the first opportunity that I had to own most of the Heisei era, from like 91 to 95. Up until that point, the most recent Godzilla movie I owned was Godzilla versus Biollante. And that one remains my favorite to this day. But I remember my grandmother watching, QVC, and they had a whole like show dedicated to Godzilla merchandise. And
Fucking love QVC.
Oh my goodness. And it was amazing. Like, so she ordered, the VHSs for me because I'd never seen any of them before. And it was an amazing time. And I mean, it's funny what I look back on now and even smile about, the stupid Taco Bell commercial and the cup holders you could get there. I still have one of the cup holders somewhere.
I used to. Yeah, I used to.
Yeah. Puff Daddy, singing over Led Zeppelin. Like, it was ridiculous.
I still have that in my car.
I
still have that song in my car.
I have the album still. I remember the Wallflowers had a song on that. And this is showing my age here because for some reason, 90s like alternative rock pop, like just hits me still to this day. Even if back then I didn't love it as much, I've grown to love it. It's kind of weird, but Wallflowers had a good track on there called Heroes. There's a couple other songs on there that I don't remember being
that was
bad.
Back when soundtracks like I was waiting for the soundtrack even before I was waiting for the movie. The soundtrack would come out, I'd grab that, and then I'd go see the movie because the soundtrack was big back then.
It's funny. Recently, we were talking about the Spawn movie, and I was sharing my relative disdain for it, or maybe my repressed memories of just how poorly I felt like it was done. I know that's and this is not personal to you because I know that's like Spawn's your guy. And don't get me wrong, I love Spawn himself in that movie. I think is really good. Like
I love what Spawn. Yeah, I love what Spawn used to be. I don't even know what he is anymore because I can't really read it anymore. It's such a different book now. And yeah, Michael Jai White as Spawn.
Right.
Like there were still like that movie still probably has 3 to 4 scenes that are really fucking cool. And then it's just surrounded by crap. You know what I mean? It's
right. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And but I had the soundtrack to that because there was
dude, that was amazing.
Kick the PA was on it by Korn, and me being a gigantic Korn fan back in the day, loved that tune.
Sneaker Pimps,
soundtracks back in the day.
I fucking love Sneaker Pimps.
Yeah,
man. I think that soundtrack won awards. I think that won whatever music award there is. I think it won one.
Yeah, there's a few. Man, there's so many cool soundtracks back then. It always felt like Korn would show up on them. They were on. I think it was The Crow 2. It was The Crow 2 soundtrack, but either way, that one was cool. They were on
The Crow 2 soundtrack was. I actually had that in the car too.
Yeah,
the Crow 2 soundtrack was really good.
It really was. They had a Power really Man 5000 tune on it, I think, and which was Rob Zombie's little brother's band there.
Filter had a really good song on there too. Fucking amazing song, actually.
Yeah. So I don't know. Now that we've talked about soundtracks, but kind of circling back to Godzilla '98, that period leading up to that film was awesome. I mean, you had books. I still have a lot of the young adult novels that were released during that time. You had the Trendmasters toys, of course. Hi, Laurie.
Hey, Laurie.
Well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Could be a clone. It was just such a magical time. Oh, what was that, Rob?
I said it could be a clone. We're not sure if it's the real Laurie or not.
Oh,
she might be busy. she may have sent one of her clones on.
Gotcha. Could be. Thank you. We appreciate it. Hope you are too.
You too, Laurie.
Congrats again last week. Apologize, I wasn't more vocal about it at the moment. I was busy working my laptop.
Matt was losing his computer at that point.
Yeah, I really was, legitimately. So now the quest for, a new high-end laptop begins, but we'll take care of that. It's the clone.
Yeah, I figured.
Nice. So regardless, that time leading up to that was just awesome. The Treadmasters toys, like the hype was real. And even though the movie itself was really disappointing to me, a year later, we got Godzilla 2000 in American theaters, and I got to see the real Toho Godzilla for the first time ever in a movie theater. And I get to go experience that same exact movie again here in like a little over a month with my kids. And to me, that's magical. Like that is
that'd be really cool.
And then, of course, a month after that, we get Godzilla Minus One.
Yep.
And a few months after that, we got Godzilla X Kong. It is a good year.
Is that coming out like
next spring in May?
No shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking within a span of like 6 months, you've got 3 theatrical Godzilla experiences on top of the new Apple Godzilla series that's coming out. That's tied to the legendary MonsterVerse.
Yeah. That actually looks good. It looks really good. The thing for me, okay, the same thing happened, and this is also Disney. But the same thing happened when Disney did like their Star Wars shows and their Marvel Disney Plus shows, right? They took something that was on the big screen and they minimized it into episodes, and I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. Like you have it's just not as big. So it's different, I think, if you take a show and make it bigger, but if you take a movie and make it smaller, in my mind, and maybe it's my OCD, it loses something. So it's like the trailer looks really good for that show. I just don't know if I want to watch tons of shows with just a few CGI. You know what I mean? And most of it's going to be the people.
I don't know that that'll be the case from what I've seen.
Because it's still about monsters. That's my thing, right?
Right.
So, even though me and you bitch about stories and how the people should drive the characters, the thing is, you don't want to cut the monsters out to like 3 minutes out of an hour-long episode. You know what I mean?
Right.
You want to... It's still about them. And that's my only concern. Because it looks good, but how much are we really going to see that's going to blow our minds? You know what I mean?
Right, and that's the key is I've caught a glimpse of some new or at least unfamiliar monsters in it, so that'll be really interesting. I'm hoping they incorporate. So they kind of had these kaiju that they introduced in King of the Monsters. And they're all kind of based on different legends. A couple of them were biblical allusions, like Behemoth and Methuselah, and things like that. And then they never really did anything with it. Like they didn't show up at all in Godzilla vs. Kong. And I actually really like that movie. I just revisited it. I've talked about this a little bit, and I still think Godzilla vs. Kong is a wildly entertaining movie. I'm still really happy with it. Overall, it's not a perfect film. There are some things I would have suggested they do a little differently or better.
I mean, it's really entertaining. It's very entertaining.
But it's very entertaining. But King of the Monsters introduced these kaiju, and then just sort of forgot about them. And that to me was really unfortunate. I've seen some in the comics that are super cool. Like Tiamat looks amazing. Like I would love. I mean, I would be giddy to see that monster on the big well, not necessarily the big screen, but even the small screen. Like to see that monster like in the show would be awesome. And my fear with it is not so much that it's going to be too small. My fear is it's going to be really good and no one's going to see it and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everybody and their uncle has Apple TV at this point.
No, they don't. No,
yeah,
they don't.
Right. I don't feel that way. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't. I don't care about Apple. One, I dislike Apple as a company anyway. Like, I know that's sacrilege to a lot of folks. Personally, as a web designer, I used to despise Apple. Like,
look, listen, I love their products. I hate their company.
Right.
I love their products. I can't stand their company. I think
I would love their products if they didn't do things like planned obsolescence and
but everything does. That's every company.
Well, they were actually they actually had to pay out a ton of money in a class action lawsuit because of it. Like, it was
that's kind of weird, because literally, like, Ford, going back to the early automobiles, everything is planned obsolescence. Everything. So that means every company should be able to be sued.
It's a little different, though, when you've literally programmed the code to behave differently after a certain period of time.
So, so I would say with Apple, then you could prove it because you can find the programmed code.
Right. Yeah, it was obvious.
Built a transmission that could have run longer because they killed that guy in 1935. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't think that's the truth. So
there's definitely a point. Like, they can make a car that runs for 1 million miles. They don't want to make a car that runs for 1 million miles.
You just can't prove it.
Right. Exactly. And it's so. But this was blatantly obvious. But Apple also, I mean, they're fantastic at marketing. They've convinced everyone that their products are so hip and so easy to use compared to anything else, and just plain old better, that people are willing to fork over $1,000 for a product that when it breaks, they have to go and pay that company to fix it because no one else can get into it to actually work on it.
Because they tapped into the future market that they knew they knew it was coming. The narcissist. They tapped into the narcissist. And I'm telling you, that's what all the programming is for. That's what all the douchey, I'm an Apple guy. Like, it's all if you're
probably
offending
half the people. If anyone's watching right now, we've just offended 90% of them. But sorry, guys, I'm not an Apple fan.
Dude, like, are you going to be a grown man and say, I'm an Apple guy? Come on, man. You're a human. You're a person. You're not a product placement fucking ad.
Right. Yeah.
Don't do that, you know?
To me, I'll go with anything that works well. And
Laurie,
congrats, Laurie.
Nice.
That's awesome. Speaking of funding, if you guys can see the link underneath my name right now, that will take you to the pre-launch page for Sector 7 on Kickstarter. So please, if you're listening, follow that link, or I just made the change. Literally, why I was running late is because I was changing InsideSector7.com to point to the Kickstarter page. So if you go to InsideSector7.com, it should take you right to the Kickstarter preview page. You can sign up there with your email to get alerts on when we're launching. We're gonna spend some time promoting this, though. We're gonna really try to do things right this time. And
fuck me. So this is new for me. So tell me, what's the plan? Like I didn't even know you were. I had no idea what you've been doing. We haven't talked for like a week and a half.
No, it's been this was sort of a surprise too. So basically, all that's up is the pre-launch right now. Everything is legit copy and pasted from our prior campaign. For those that don't know, we tried launching on Fund My Comp. We're still rather wet behind the ears. We're new at all this. Like, we started this about 6 months ago. We jumped into campaigns, didn't really know a lot about what we were doing. But right now we have the pre-launch up on Kickstarter. We're going to be trying to fund there just for more eyes. One thing that I kind of feel strongly about is that this particular comic book, it's an indie comic. Indie comic fans will enjoy it. We're very character driven, but I also think that our main audience, the people who are going to be most interested, are kaiju fans. So kind of what we're talking about tonight. With Godzilla and the whole nine. But so I want to make it easier for those people, for literally that fandom, to access our campaign, because I think that'll help us out a lot, especially as we continue to interact with both sides of, of course, this show and your show, Ron, with the comic book world. And then on my end, with my other longtime friend, John Bumpus, doing the, we call it Stompcast. And then
you guys are still doing shows together, right?
Yeah, we're still doing shows together. I'm not sure when we're going to sneak one in this week, but we did. And I was just on the Monster Report last week. So you guys can definitely give that a listen, check that out. We talk a little bit about it. But yes, the pre-launch page is live, and it's just going to be signing up for alerts for regarding the project. So please go sign up if you're listening, and we be again. If it's not live right this second, it should be adjusted. Usually, it takes sometimes half an hour, maybe an hour for the redirect to go through. But it's InsideSector7.com, and that should take you right to our pre-launch page on Kickstarter. And we're just going to spend some time promoting it.
Nice, awesome. Yeah, let's take our time this time, man. I mean, it's on. Did you have to pick a time frame for pre-launch, like 30, 60 days, or are we just will launch?
Nope, pre-launch lasts until we're ready to launch.
I dropped my computer.
Yeah, it lasts until we're ready to launch. So,
awesome.
We're gonna try and do this right. We want to bring people along for this ride. I've got some cool things in store. For folks, I think we'll get people excited about it. And there's the actual, like, it's like what do they call it? A compressed link or whatever. So it looks kind of funky. It's not a virus, I promise. It's just going to take you to the Kickstarter page, or again, you can go to InsideSector7.com, and that should take you right over to it.
Nice.
So, and it's spelled just like it is in our YouTube and Twitter link at where instead of at Inside Sector 7, it's InsideSector7.com. So that's part of what I've been working on for us, is to get that up and running so we can, while we're talking about Sector 7, have something for someone to go check out and look at.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Awesome, dude. That's fucking great. That's really cool. Good.
Yeah. So we've got that going. We've got Ravenhood in the works, and we continue to share out his promo art and stuff like that. Lots of exciting things.
I still got. I'll be finishing Nano 13 probably around November-ish. I'm working on a cover for Nano 13 this week and the logo design. I found a colorist, and him and Chris hit it off really well. And me and the colorist hit it off really well. So that's really cool. I'll get the colorist name and Twitter out there. I apologize. I cannot remember. I'm horrible with names, and I only know. Anyways, I can't remember.
And we're getting old.
Yeah,
let's face it, we're getting old. Like, it's hard.
I can't. No, I fucking suck, dude. Because Brittany always yells at me because I don't. So we go to a homeschool group. We've been there for 4 years maybe at the same homeschool group. I don't know one parent. Now, I don't want to know one parent, so that's part of my problem. But she's like, so-and-so. And I'm like, well, who's that? Well, yeah. She's like, well, that's Caleb's kid. Well, who the fuck is Caleb? I don't know anybody. So I feel bad when I mention someone like our colorist, who I would love to give a plug right now, and I can't remember their name, but I will. Because he's actually a really cool guy, and we seem to get along really well. We're excited to be working together. Him and Chris hit it off, so he got hired, and so I'll be finishing Nano 13 up around like I said, probably November-ish. Unless there's other things like I break my neck again or Chris's bank account gets robbed again. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's always those setbacks, but then after that anyone listening, after that I'll be looking for paid work again while I also work on stuff for me and Matt. So because me and Matt's work, like, I don't get paid for that. I'm waiting for the funding to get paid for that, and in the meantime I still need rent. So I'll be available for paid work, interiors, promo images, anything anyone needs. If you see my Twitter, I can do it. So
yeah, and I don't think you're going to be hurting for work, too. Like I think there's.
I hope not. I really like
at this point. I mean, let's share out your freaking pages for Chris and say, yeah, this guy's looking for work, and I'm pretty sure you'll get it.
I know. It's I have an ad pinned on my Twitter. I've gotten a lot of retweets and a lot of likes and stuff. I just haven't gotten a lot of really inquiries yet. But you know what I mean? I don't know. It'll happen. You know when it'll happen? It'll happen right before I put my head through the fucking wall. That's when it's going to happen. Right before I'm ready to lose it, someone will contact me and it'll be fine.
You know what? It's going to happen. Dude, you're way too talented and it's way too obvious. Like, people have to wait to see what I do. And, I'm, of course, nervous that, it's hard not to second guess yourself in the meantime, but that's why I'm going to put some stuff out there that I think people will enjoy, and I'll kind of hopefully put a little bit of that to rest for myself. But
but if you read the character bios, like even the character bios they're well structured, they're well written. The verbiage is really good. So
I think actually, I mean, it's definitely
standpoint.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
technically, you're a good writer,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm very tough on myself, probably harsher than most. And
me too. If I'm not,
I know you are. I'm nobody, we're wired very similarly in many respects.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I'm looking for. But with you, it's just so obvious. Like, you just look at it and you're like, holy crap! Like, I was looking at the pages for Chris that you were sharing out again earlier today, I think, and it was, I'm just like still blown away. I'm like, wow, this looks freaking awesome. Like, I totally want to read the comic book.
His book looks his book looks really good. I will say, because of the constant work that I've had with Chris, I'm getting better still. And like he's definitely gotten some of my best work. Not every page can be 100%, and let's say the 22-page book, even Todd McFarlane was like, not every page is 100%. You have those ones that kind of lead you into the ones. He's gotten a lot of my best work, and it's going really good.
Takes me to homepage. The link just takes me to homepage 2.
Brittany said the same thing. Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, the Kickstarter homepage.
I'm not sure why. I'll try to monkey with it while we're talking here. Maybe it didn't have long enough to take effect. Hopefully that is just the case here, and because I did go in and edit that, but regardless, I don't want to spend our whole show talking about that right now. I will figure out why that is the case and see what we can do about that, because it definitely should, if it's not already, I would imagine before the night is, hang on. Why does it say that? Okay. Hang on. Maybe. Let's see if that worked.
I can't see up there.
Says it activated. The only other unfortunate thing, it does say that it is so it does say to copy. Here, try this link, guys, and we will see. It does say it's active. It should be. And we will try and figure out if that worked. But why can I not connect? Oh, I got to connect to it. Hang on one second. Won't let me pop it in the chat, I don't think, exactly. So let's see.
Pop just said first sign up. I think he got something. I think he's saying he's the first sign up.
Oh, okay, good. It should definitely be live now. So if he signed up, we're good.
I think he said
And I'll go back.
If that's what you're saying, Pops, thank you, buddy.
Yep. Yeah, we appreciate it. I will adjust where that domain is pointing to as well, and we'll get that all squared away. But yeah, really excited. I don't know. I'm really excited about this book.
Pops wins.
I can't really say that enough. It is pretty.
Send it to Brittany in Messenger, and she'll pop it up in the chat.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and talk for a second, so I'm not fumbling over my words while I'm doing this.
No problem.
Because I can't think and do that at the same time. Apparently, I'm too brain dead.
Pops already got it. That's why he's the man with plan. Pops has got it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is excellent news. But kind of getting back to, I don't know if we want to come full circle, or did you have anything to add on our books right now while we're talking?
No, I mean, I didn't even know that you had done the Kickstarter until right now. So no, everything's fine. Everything's going good. Like I said, me and you have a few projects that we're doing. At Sector 7, Ravenhood's another one that we're gonna work on. Ravenhood, you know, at least I think, right? Sector 7. So actually, let's just make it kind of clear what the plan is, including myself. So our main thing right now is going to be Sector 7, you know, taking our time with it, advertising, talking about it, building the audience. And then secondary is going to be Ravenhood, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know it has to be one way or another, at least right now. My thought is let's see how they go. Like we'll set up something for Ravenhood. Unfortunately, it looks like from what I can tell with the Sector 7 pre-launch page, it's not going to give you all the information. So what I'll do here in the near future, when I get some funds again, I will set up the website to feature all the information that we had on the old campaign. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
But with all the character bios, I'll make the graphics all pretty. It'll be like looking cool. But my thought is, we can have them both growing with signups and things like that, and have that just be something we're promoting. And if Ravenhood if we get 300 signups for Ravenhood, and we're only sitting at 75 on Sector 7, what are we doing? We're focusing on the wrong thing. So let's just we're as one grows, we work on that. It doesn't mean the other one's not happening. I really think Ravenhood has more mainstream appeal in the comic book world.
By far, definitely.
So I fully anticipate that's probably going to be ready to launch first. But let's say in a couple of months we really push that and we shoot up. I don't know. Can we get 300 followers? I don't know what's realistic. Probably, maybe if we give it a few months.
I don't know. Oh, Laurie says no. I was first. I don't know who was first. You know what, man? Coming into the indie scene, what I thought was realistic apparently was just insane. So I don't know what's realistic anymore in this whole niche of a niche of a niche of a niche. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, campaigns that
one thing
I'm not gonna say that. But I definitely see us equal to a lot of other campaigns, and with a quarter or even 10% of the numbers, and I have to chalk that up to just time in the game. Just time in the game. It hasn't even been, what's it been, like 6 months now? You know what I mean?
Right. And for three or four of those months, we had no idea what we were doing. For 4 of those months, I was trying to finish up a master's degree. Bye, Laurie. Have a good night. Thank you for coming.
Oh, she's taking off. Bye, Laurie.
She is taking off. Okay. So like it really comes down to one of those things where let's just we'll do it upright. We're going to keep interacting. We're going to keep getting people interested, and I think the product sells itself. So as people get familiar with us, they know we're not going anywhere. We're not We're not just flying in under the cover of night to swindle a bunch of people out of a quick payday, which would be meaningless anyway for the amount of money we're if we were asking for $1 million, sure,
you're
but
in the wrong game for a quick payday. Holy shit!
Oh my goodness! Well, and
Go
honestly, if we're
if
putting in this much time to make less than $10,000, that's kind of stupid. Seriously,
I'm serious. Like that's the whole thing is fucked. Like the whole thing is fucked up. It's there's such a giant, and this is nothing. This is no one's fault. I've already said this before. But there's just such a giant disconnect between like the upper tip of the pyramid, and then the small middle class, and then the rest of us. And I consider like middle class in indie numbers anywhere between even like 20 to maybe 50,000.
Sure.
And I think if you're doing more than 50,000, you deserve to be called like upper tier, because that shit's hard. Like there's not a lot of people in indie comics making more than 50,000. So
it almost seems like the only way you're doing that is if you're coming out of comics, or you have
It makes it easier. It does.
Right.
Like if you come in with an established audience, yes, it definitely makes it easier. And again, good for them. Like there's no fault in there.
Who could blame them?
I'm just speaking about the reality of just how everything seems to be in a pyramid structure. And we're starting out new with no audience, so we're at the bottom run, which is where large majority of indie creators are. And the fact that we're willing to do any of this and make almost no money, like I just said, if you wanted a quick payday, I could literally work at Tim Hortons and make way more money than nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like, anyone doing this, anyone doing the YouTube and promoting like we are, we're not going anywhere. That's just not going to happen.
No,
we're just literally, we're like waiting to get funded just to show you how fucking great we are, to be honest.
Yeah.
So really, like you haven't really seen anything yet. And that's amazing. I completely
agree.
Do it, so
now theoretically, or within the next 15 minutes or so, InsideSector7.com should point you to the Kickstarter page. That's probably the easier way, or of course you could just go to Kickstarter and give us a follow there. Of course. So we definitely appreciate the folks that have signed up already. And I'm really going to spend some time just trying to get people excited about this project and just talking about it. Like this is the fun part. Like we still have a couple kaiju we need to reveal. There's so many things about this story that I really love, and I think other people are going to love too. And
again, like I'll say it, man. I don't think. Like, I wasn't worried that we didn't get funded the first time. I said it right on my show a few times. Like, I wasn't worried about it because it will be funded. It's going to be funded sometime. And the only difference is you're going to waste time being not as entertained as you could have been if you just signed up now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a great fucking book.
I can't wait. Honestly, I think it's pretty phenomenal. Like I said, as a kaiju fan and as someone that gets giddy when I think about all this stuff, like I'm still a big little kid in a lot of ways with it, and this is kind of like. If you grew up watching this stuff, you're going to like this book because I grew up watching it with you and we watch it for the same reasons, I think anyway. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to turn out. We have a pretty fun book and it's only going to get honestly, it excites me to know where it can go after the first story arc. I think what we have after that is phenomenal and is
with
gonna,
what we came up with that day at the table. Yeah, like the second. So after volume 1, basically, which is a beginning, a middle, and an end. I mean, it is one contained volume, but volume 2, like it can get nuts. It can really get nuts.
Right. And I want to see that happen. I want to see people get to enjoy that and really just fall in love with, this group of monsters. There's a lot of folks out there doing giant monster stuff, but I think ours are kind of, dare I say, I'll be self-confident here and say special. Like our monsters are characters.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I always really loved about the Godzilla movies growing up, was that the monsters were characters. They weren't just simply the nameless monster just kind of being a vessel to forward the action. Like, they had personalities. They had things about them that made them unique and cool, and like, each one had their own call, and they didn't feel. I use this in a very general way because some of them, of course, are little more than giant. I guess that brings up a good point. Like some of the ones that I find the least interesting growing up were the ones that were just giant bugs, like Macus or, the giant praying mantis. You had Abera, who's, essentially a giant lobster or shrimp, and, things like that. And I didn't find them that interesting, even if their movies were really good. And those are a couple of the Showa era films I really enjoy. But, I think what was cool was those ones that you had a personality. Like I remember Megalon, like laughing after he and Gigan, like beat up Jet Jaguar. And not that, our kaiju are going to laugh, but
no,
like you're going to get, we didn't like that so much in Godzilla versus Kong.
No, that was one of the things we didn't like. Yeah.
The smile was a little cheesy. It was a little different in Godzilla versus Megalon. But at the same time, our monsters will feel like they have a personality to them. They will feel.
You'll be able to pick your favorite one.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that was always the best part growing up. Like you pick your favorites out, you watch all those movies. And to this day, you have debates over which ones could beat up who, and stuff like that. And it's phenomenal. It's amazing. What makes this genre so great. So I was excited to share that with you. I kind of talked about it last week on the Monster Report, but that was because it was in the approval stage. Kickstarter does have to approve your campaign, and you can't put up the pre-launch stuff until it's approved. So today was the day, and here I was scrambling before hopping on with you to see if I could get that up.
Yeah.
So there it is. As far as that goes.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So there's things happening. There's things happening that I didn't even know about. So we're going to have Sector 7. We're going to have Ravenhood, which we'll definitely have to put up more stuff for him. I don't know when I'll have time to draw more stuff because I got to finish Chris's book. But at least in the meantime, we should be working on the story for Ravenhood. Because I know some of the basics. I don't know actually how much you have fleshed out. You know what I mean? We know the basic world that he's in. We just put a bunch of awesome fucking stuff together that works well because this is more commercial, but it's also very badass. And just things that I fucking love. Like I love the future cities, and I love, this doesn't have the flying cars like Sector 7, but we have that in Sector 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is more like Uber future corporate, kind of basically Ghost in the Shell, pretty much that kind of corporate look. And then a guy that is running around with feathers on his back. But it sounds lame, but it's actually really fucking cool. So yeah, really cool character. Really cool. Like V for Vendetta meets Assassin's Creed meets. I know that you've got some torturous stuff for this
I've got
character
some
to do.
ideas. Like I think that Ravenhood is a really twisted character.
Yeah.
Like he's not there's virtuous parts of him. There's virtuous aspects of his philosophies, but at the same time, he's not a good guy. And I would even hesitate to call him an anti-hero at times because while his goals are ultimately noble, I think his methods are rather cruel at times. And I want to make the reader simultaneously want to root for him and also feel really uncomfortable doing that. Right?
That's great. See, and that's what me and Matt have to offer. Look, I can draw cool shit, all right? But what me and Matt have to offer, especially Matt, when it comes to the writing, is this different way of telling the story. And it's a very mature way of telling the story with it without having to show nudity or anything like that. It's just freaking good. It's just like, because I could draw a cool guy jumping off rooftops and killing some corporate dudes, but it's the way me and Matt work. It's so much deeper than that. Like you already are trying to get into the reader's head, like viscerally,
Right.
So and that's what I mean. Like, our books are going to have a certain feel that I think people are going to be surprised about. And when I say mature, it doesn't mean a 12-year-old can't read it. Maybe not Ravenhood, definitely Sector 7. But
Right.
But it's just it's multi-dimensional. It's not one dimension or two dimensions. It's a multi-dimensional, character-driven way of telling a story. Something that's been really lacking in most media.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that me and Matt can offer. So
yeah, and I think part of what makes our style of writing together really great is we're very cinematic minded. Like
yeah.
We think like a movie, and I think that makes especially in modern comics, because comics aren't what they. I was thinking about this today, because I'll be honest, like if I really think about it, I know a lot of comics pre 2000, and I still know some from 2000 to 2010, and then I don't know much of anything. So because what I realized was I really love the comics from, well, really the golden and silver and bronze ages, and even into the 90s and things like that. Like I really love that era, and there was something different about them, and they've become something else entirely. And I'm not sure that everyone successfully made that jump, if that makes sense, from what comics used to be to what they are now. The art says movie, like,
oh yeah,
nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm not sure the writing always says movie. And maybe I'm just sounding arrogant, or maybe people have no idea what I'm talking about. But in my mind, I think if you structure it more like a film, it's definitely. And when I think of like The Killing Joke, I think they did that in that book, where it feels very cinematic in a lot of ways. Do you
Mark Millar wrote a lot. I would say most of what I know of Mark Millar, besides his newer stuff where he's just trying to create IPs and he's just phoning it in. Mark Millar had a run that was, and for me, I'm a huge fan, unbelievable. From the Ultimates to actually, he wrote a lot of the Ultimate Marvel series to Kick-Ass. You know what I mean? He wrote Wanted. He is, when I think of cinematic storytelling and certain visuals from Brian Hitch, which he worked with for the Ultimates, like when I tell people to pick up a comic and read it, the Ultimates volume 1 and 2 are always the one I tell them to get, because it's the easiest cross from cinema to comics. You're picking up a volume and it's a straight movie. And it's because of how Millar structured it and how Brian Hitch tells the story. He purposely used cinematic paneling, and it's fucking gorgeous. So no, definitely. I think that's how I've always liked to structure my stories. When I saw the Ultimates, those volumes, I'm like, yes, this is how I want to tell a story. Because I think sometimes we're at an hour now. We'll just go like a couple more minutes. I think sometimes, especially, my God, in the indie world, telling like a multi-issue run is death. I think you're going to get the best results when you have a definite ending. It'll keep the reader like buying even an issue they didn't think was the best. If the next one is like the conclusion, it keeps them interested, you know? So the cinematic way of telling a comic story, I think for me, that's always been my thing.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on that, man. And we started off on the Godzilla kick, and then
we didn't even talk about like why no one's paying attention to Hollywood, but honestly, I just threw that in there to say something. I didn't think we'd actually end up talking about Hollywood because I know how mean you are. So
yeah, it's funny. Yeah, you do, and we definitely got off on a rabbit. We almost got off on like 90s movie soundtrack. That should be a whole show.
Dude, we could do another hour. Like I know that's just how we are. I know.
We definitely could do another hour. I kind of want to touch on that 90s movie soundtrack thing again, though. That sounds really fun.
Let's do that. Let's do that next week. I mean, let's do that next Monday.
We could definitely do that. We should also kind of circle back around to talking about how that Godzilla movie is going to be received stateside and what that might be. So maybe we could talk about that in a couple weeks. We'll never run out of things to talk about.
No, never. It just like having you on just makes it all easier. So I'm glad we finally got the adventures of MattMan and Romo going.
Yeah, absolutely. And last week was a little bit of a detour with Chuck being on with us, which not complaining about
Chuck,
that.
No.
That was awesome.
Anytime he wants.
Yeah, Chuck, please come back and visit.
Come back and detour us, Chuck.
We enjoyed having you on immensely. And then the week before,
me and Brittany wanted him to be our uncle. We freaking loved him. We loved him. Like our awesome uncle Chuck.
He's so great. Cool. I actually he's definitely someone that I look up to in comic books for sure. Like just as a writer really feel a strong connection with him just in a way that's different because I see so many writers that I don't know, I feel like you can't really talk to, if you met them in person. Like some of my favorites, and I won't name any names like in case I ever get famous.
No, but I think Chuck is probably a rare breed. Someone who's had immense success and is a totally normal dude. I think he's a rare breed. I really do. I
think you and I would be that guy. Like I really do.
I think so too. And I hope we get the chance to be that guy.
Right.
I hope we get a chance to.
I want to see. I would love to see Sector 7 become a movie one day, just because
I want to see it be an anime. I know you want a movie. I would love to see it be an anime, to be honest.
An anime.
I think
an anime would be really cool. And in fact, it may really work as an anime. Even with now just thinking about it, like that kind of American anime style, like
the American anime style, like the Voltron on Netflix or Avatar. I think it's actually the same animation house that does those. Very similar.
Yeah, Avatar. I was going to say I know nothing. Yeah. I know nothing about like Avatar or Legend of Korra, but they look. The images I've seen of it, I again knowing nothing about them, I think it looks.
They have a very, very nice blend of American and Japanese. Very nice blend. I'm pretty sure it's the same house that does Voltron too.
I would say both Netflix Godzilla series, even though I'm not a fan of their stories. Like their stories were kind of. Well, I should say Singular Point's story was good, but it got the kaiju wrong, and then you had. the original Godzilla anime trilogy where it was just kind of a jumbled mess, and Godzilla Earth is cool looking.
It was a jumbled mess, but the animation, like I still put that on in the background because it's really good sci-fi animation. Good. It's really good, like visually. Holy shit, it's fucking gorgeous, dude.
You're right. Sector 7 would look pretty amazing in that art style.
It would be amazing in an anime.
That would be sick.
But listen, we're at 105, so I think we say goodbye. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will be back next week together. I'll be back Friday. And I also have an interview. Who's it with on Thursday, honey? BentBox. So I have an interview with BentBox on Thursday. I believe that's on their channel, though. So that'll be interesting. Some new people to talk to and branch out and just keep spreading the brand and spreading the name, man. So
so make sure you're pointing people. I'm double checking. Hey, it works. InsideSector7.com will take you to our Kickstarter page. So
there you go. Nice.
Go sign up, folks.
Nice. Congrats to you. Congrats to us. Good job, man.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate.
I will talk to you soon, buddy. You're only a few blocks away. Call if you need anything. I'll do the same as always. Love you, man. And love you guys. And thanks for joining. Take care, folks.
Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. Rom-com.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.